friends. Welcome to Worldbuild with us, the podcast where we create fantastical worlds with help from you, our listeners. My name is Rob Hilferty, and I'm here with quizzically quixotic Chris Prunty. And our special guest for the third time in a row, Daniel Quinn. On today's episode, we are going to be traveling north. I mean, let's be real here, guys. It's the wintertime here in the States, and if you're somewhere else, good for you. But here in the States, it's cold. It's almost the holiday season, and so we're going to be tracking north to the frozen norths of the land of 1,000 gods. Home to the anathema beasts that are being hunted down by some kind of badass Viking men, and because we haven't had an episode about them yet, we're going to sit here and break it down, figure out how their system works, what their deal is, and we go from there. Gentlemen, good to see you.
I feel like we haven't established anything about the North beyond the anathema beast, but
and the forgotten that have some kind of ascensions. That's also kind of important as well, because
yes.
that's pretty cool.
Could you recap the Forgotten for those who haven't missed that section?
Yes, Daniel. So, the Forgotten are Chris's babies, which are essentially a race of progenitor race beings that have advanced so far that they've actually degenerated into what are essentially mindless psychic beast type men. And they're responsible mostly for a lot of the Underdark type thing that we have in our setting.
super advanced technology at times, but also in ways that don't make sense to us. A little bit of a Lovecraftian and elf with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to be seeing, like, you know, rocket ships or laser beams or anything like that, but mostly just like, how, this is thousands of years old, how does this exist type of thing.
Kind of like Illithids, but less tentacly.
Yes. In my brain, I think of them more as like mudmen almost, but like fleshy mudmen. So it's not mud, but like liquid ooze flesh, basically.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's pleasant.
Yeah, kind of like the Blob, but smaller.
Oh.
Yeah, and less acidic.
So are they
Yeah.
inscrutable or are they evil?
They kind of leave people alone, which is why the ones up to the north that have kind of an agenda and have an intelligence are so different compared to the rest of them. So when you travel north, you're like, wait a minute, this is how the Forgotten's supposed to work. But that's pretty much the recap that we have thus far. And now let's go ahead and talk about the frozen north, as it were. Now, gentlemen, when I think of the frozen north, part of me wants to avoid Vikings because I feel like they've been done and overdone and redone over and over again.
So we'll do zombies instead.
Yes.
Can we do zombie Vikings? Yeah. No, and the reason I'm thinking of, it's 1500s, right? In the 1500s, the Nordic countries were not still Vikings, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are probably still a couple of Viking-looking people around at the time, but for the most part, I want to keep it more to, or what I'm trying to stay away from is the noble ice savage type thing. That's really what I'm trying to avoid. How can we make the land of the North interesting, unique, and try and stay away from tropes? What do you think?
Oh, damn. I'm not sure if this is a trope or not, but my love of conspiracy theories, I would like something at the top of the world that's like a hole into it. Do you know what I mean? Like Journey to the Center of the Earth, the whole expedition sent to the South Pole in order to find, what was it? Like some encampment of the third race or the first race. I forget. It's been a while since I've looked up.
You're on your own here, buddy.
You have no idea? Oh wow!
remember what they're
Just
called.
straight up crazy talk. Okay.
Welcome to Coast to Coast. Yeah.
No, I believe that there was like a Nazi expedition to Antarctica to look for evidence of like an Aryan first race there or something.
I think it's the power of Rill might have something to do with that.
Yeah, they were also going for that. So yeah, I believe that there's always been a theory of like a frozen city that's in Antarctica or a hole that goes into some sort of center of the earth kind of thing with dinosaurs and crap like that.
So something like Lemuria, almost like a lost continent. See, I actually kind of want to stay away from that specifically because I feel like... See, I wanted to stay away from that specifically because I'm afraid that it'll be something like, like Land of the Lost, where it's a bunch of frozen savages, and like again, I'm really trying to stay away from that trope. Although Daniel, I think you had an idea previously where it was like you wanted something that was basically Yggdrasil on top of Mount Olympus. Like, why don't you talk about that?
I do, but then I also just thought of something riffing off of what he was just talking about that might push it a little further along. It's like, what if there's a way to get to an inverse of the world by going to the center of the north?
What?
So it's really popular nowadays to have like an under reality that's a mirror of ours. Like, so think Stranger Things has that in their
upside
story.
down.
Yeah, the upside. Yep. Yeah, exactly. The upside down. So like, what if there's a way to get to a parallel version?
Well, that's what we've already established with
Yeah.
like the infinite multiverses. So maybe this is like a permanent portal.
Or you could do like DC's Dark Multiverse.
Yeah, or something like that.
Oh, where there's just like a bunch of evil Batman and stuff like that, like the Man Who Laughs.
But less goofy.
Oh no, it's not goofy at all.
it's
It's
not?
actually
Okay.
really dark and kind of
Oh
fun.
yeah,
actually,
the Bat
yeah.
Who Laughs is kind of
It's
fucked
fun.
up. Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, it's. We'll talk about it some other
I
time.
mean, it could be on top of this structure that I was thinking about.
I actually so when you say something like that, I actually had this idea, right? Where there is essentially a Mount Olympus or just like a mountain or it's like the tooth of the world, and then you climb that, and then there just so happens to be some kind of permanent portal to another universe.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm also thinking this idea of pilgrims. So it's a matter of this weird kind of faux religious experience, or maybe it's just a bunch of cults, or maybe it's just some kind of alternate spirituality system that they have where I haven't found a god in this land. I haven't found a god in this world. So what am I going to do? I'm going to seek a god in another world.
I like this as a permanent portal, as it can also play into eventually if the God Blob were to come to a place, it seeps out of the whole of the last world and into this one, which gives it that whole a central place for it to come from, a central place for people to defend against. Which I like the idea of the hordes coming from the frozen north.
See, I'm trying to avoid the frozen horde.
Like Game of
trope.
Thrones. Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you have World of Warcraft. Vast numbers of things coming from a frozen wasteland is what I'm trying to avoid in general. I like the idea of a religious pilgrimage type deal. And I find actually what might be more interesting to deal with then is alternative spiritualities and weird cults that pop up around this thing, where it's actually, it'd be kind of cool is, how in our episode with the World Shard, where there's like infinite numbers of things, and then they all merge. What happens if there was like a failed one of those, and all that happened is it has created like 100 of the same person in a concentrated area?
I feel like what would be cool is if you tie something bizarre like that to the Forgotten, because they're an enigma. And if there was some kind of anomaly that's duplicating people, let's say through this portal, I feel like that ancient race, which doesn't really, people don't really understand the nature of them. They seem to be so far advanced, they've fallen back on themselves, might have something to do with it or know about it.
Like maybe whatever structures are there or surrounding this portal are indicative to their construction.
Possibly.
The weird spires,
Okay.
But I like the idea of people like it being the inverse of the shard, that it's duplicated in someone rather than merge them.
Right. And so like you're just getting like dozens of the same person.
You could end up like in some part of the frozen north, maybe you're investigating the forgotten archaeology, right? And you encounter this town where there's like literally the same guy duplicated 27 times, and he lives there. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's literally just him.
Harry.
Well, so when you say that you want to bring in the Forgotten, now I'm thinking like, okay, maybe we make the hook for this country the Forgotten. Everywhere else, the Forgotten are kind of left to their own devices. But this is when you talk about the Frozen North, maybe the Forgotten are the hook. Maybe they're the things that like, look, this is what's going on with these Forgotten. And my mind is now what I'm thinking now is have them, because they're known builders, right? They construct all the weird things that happen underground. maybe this is the first time that you actually get to see the weird spires and in a kind of Mountains of Madness type thing, where you're just seeing, oh, they're basically carving the mountain into a giant, one. And so it's like constantly under construction. And because they're, the Forgotten, they're essentially tireless. They don't complain. They need very little food. And so you see this mountain start to twist and turn and be sculpted essentially in some kind of a cyclopean. Again, I just think that there's something there. Like, I feel like we're on there's like a kernel,
yeah.
right? Like there's something really cool that's there, but we're not entirely there yet.
They're builders, right? Like, what if they don't just build buildings? What if they build people too?
When you say people, do you mean like golem people, or are you talking about like that people? Because that's
which one's more interesting?
Well, in the process of body horror, I'm going to say that people. Especially if we somehow make them indicative of the thing.
I want it to be. I don't know. I'm really stuck here. This is the first time where we have cool ideas, but we can't synthesize them.
Well, so maybe we should list out the things we have on the table, right? So we've got this spire mountain, right, where there's this portal that duplicates things. We have this.
No, the portal doesn't duplicate things. I want the portal to be like
incidental to it.
No, like a legitimate portal that takes you to another world.
Okay, so it is a portal.
Yes.
In the vicinity, we have people who have been duplicated, and underneath the surface, we've got this forgotten race that likes to build things and may or may not be connected to those people.
Yes. So it seems as though the whole life around this particular frozen waste is with the mountain, right? It seems as though in my mind, I'm thinking of like Uluru or Denali, where these like massive geological wonders that are essentially, or that are central to religious experiences. So that's what I'm thinking, is that this mountain has vast religious importance. And when I'm thinking of like pilgrimages, like I want this to be a place where everyone, or not everyone, but I want this to be a sacred place for people who feel
lost the faith, who don't have a faith,
right? Who feel lost, who feel like there's nothing in this world for them. Where they're essentially like, all right, we're going on a death pilgrimage as far as we know. We're going to leave everything. We're going to shed everything. And we're going to take a chance at this new life in this other place that we have no idea what it is.
Depressing.
Right, but we had death cults like that all the time back in that time, right? Like, think about this schism.
We have them now.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, it's not like, there's a spaceship that's zooming down low enough that, everyone's going to get our souls, but I mean, I think there's something there to it where almost like Tibet or almost like the Himalayas, where Everest is a giant tourist attraction and a massive boon for their economy and country. There's something there with like, okay, it's a pilgrimage experience, and then there just so also happens to be
people who are testing their own metal and not even having a religious experience to it, but want to go there.
I was actually thinking that the Forgotten are kind of maybe the Forgotten are ancillary to the mountain pilgrimage experience in general, because it's a matter of like, okay, maybe the Forgotten and the people who are trying to create a pilgrimage or whatever, maybe there's some conflict there where it's like the Forgotten are coming in conflict with the people who are just trying to get up the top of the mountain and experience that religious thing. I don't know, I'm rambling here.
They could be trying to build defenses of some kind, like walls, labyrinths. They're tireless people. They could build that. Part of the journey to this portal is the fact that you have to go through 1,000 acres of freaking maze, and in that maze are puzzles and areas that don't make sense.
So we're talking essentially of like the Tomb of Annihilation, but a mountain. All right, so interesting.
I'm curious, like,
Annihilation Mountain.
What's the relationship between, say, the cloned people that like are in these like forgotten cities or whatever, and the Forgotten? Like, did the Forgotten create them if they didn't come from the portal? And if they did, like, why?
I don't know. See, this is the thing. I feel like we need more ideas to kind of hone the ideas, because I'm ready to just kind of like take that idea of like the bunch of cloned people and just toss it.
Oh, I see.
I'm just throwing out ideas in general to figure out how we find a kernel of something interesting enough to really build on.
I think it's super eerie. That's why I like it.
Yeah, I like the idea of like this, like it's basically the lone mountain, and then like maybe like just like a massive area around it that's just frozen and windswept. So how does life, like, is life all about just getting to the mountain? What's the life around it? Like, what do we do? What are we working with here?
Once again, going back to the anathema beast and everything, that subsiding on that or attempting to. But it's a barren tundra. Like, it's hard to say life is a little bit more than survival.
Okay.
Well, if you go back to motivations, we were thinking that the Forgotten might not want people to get to the mountain, right? What if they want people to get to the mountain? Then they might provide sustenance for people to survive there.
To go back on the thought of both the clone people and also the Forgotten and everything, what if that was kind of like the mad cultists, the ones that, for whatever reason, they have an understanding with the Forgotten.
Yeah.
Something about their mind being splintered makes them either perceive to understand each other or do understand each other. And so they have these like little villages that are built throughout the things where they leave each other alone, but also imagine walking once again into like a village area where everyone looks the same and everyone's a little bit crazy. Because imagine going and seeing that experience and also having your consciousness shattered and then reformed. You don't come back, right?
Okay, hold on. I think I'm getting an idea. Maybe there's an equal exchange when it comes to this portal. Maybe every time you send somebody, maybe a pilgrim walks in, and then a duplicate of that same person walks out.
Yes.
And so now, also the other idea that I'm kind of workshopping right now is, what happens if I love what we were saying, where the Forgotten are drawing people here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, and so I'm like, what do they need? I'm like, oh, they need people for a ritual. So maybe they're grabbing pilgrims and like using them for their own fell gains, or maybe this whole thing about the portal has been a lie this entire time, and they're siphoning energy off of this portal. And I'm sure it's legit in some way, or maybe it's a finger quotes portal, but it's actually just like, hey, people walk in and they duplicate themselves, or they're rewritten to be this exact person.
It ties the two together, because then you have a seemingly beneficent relationship with the Forgotten, when people are passing through as pilgrims and they encounter these villages, which wouldn't have duplicated people that are like, who have been known to have been lost, right? Who populate these villages because they were former pilgrims. They go through these villages, they get maybe some comfort there because they're in this horrible, labyrinth-filled wasteland, right? They finally they learn from these villagers they're a little eerie and weird, kind of like a cult. They get to the mountain, they pass through, and then they're lost from the world, but their duplicate emerges and joins the village.
That's so fucking crazy. Like, I feel like we're just creating a horror scenario, which I'm totally down with, mind you. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
Oh, and it's all about the change that takes place once you enter the portal. Just like you will see fulfillment, you will understand peace. Once
They sell
you
it
go
as a
through the portal.
religion,
Right.
Yeah.
So now we have like this cult of the mountain.
But there was
that's
just one
established,
freaking
right?
mad prophet that did it first in the Forgotten. Could be benign in all this. They could just be like, yeah, we make the port. Man, it's weird that these things keep on walking into our portal. Well, anyhow, back to building a maze.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, I like the idea that the mad prophet never went in the portal.
Yeah, he was always there.
He's just been convincing people to go. It's like, oh, I am the shepherd. I am the shepherd to make sure that everyone else goes
Maybe
through
he's
the portal.
living super long time because somehow he's benefiting from that.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe the shepherd is just the duplicate man. So it's like there's always a prophet because he's always being like taken and like reconfigured essentially. And so you're going to see this same guy, part of the same cult, who's indoctrinated. And okay, that's kind of fun. All right.
Kind of Randall Flagg vibe from him.
I like it. Yeah.
If you get
Dark Tower.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Dark Tower.
Yeah. No, I got you. I can fuck with this. Yeah. I can totally dig this.
And you can leave it a mystery as to the relationship between the Forgotten and their duplicates that they've created, because that could be changed depending on your campaign's needs.
Yeah.
You could also just have the head prophet wear a very elaborate mask as part of a
true.
ceremonial
Yeah.
thing, and then it's just like, oh, that's totally still the prophet. He sounds the same.
Right. Wow, he must truly be powerful because he's been alive for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm down with this. All right, so this is like just this one area in the frozen north. I want it to be like basically giant wilderness, mountain with the weird cult shit with the pilgrims, right? And then kind of dotted along the landscapes, there's just these like villages and cities that are kind of popping up. Like, neither of you guys went to Norway with me, so this is not helpful. But they're basically just a bunch of like whalers, and they're just cool with hanging out and just doing their own thing. And I mean, one of the benefits of vast wilderness is you kind of get to just stick to your own like thing, basically. You're left alone for the most part.
But talking about like individualists that kind of live in the outskirts of the kind of the beginning of the North as they move deeper and deeper inside.
I mean, I was thinking of like a Wild West vibe.
Oh, okay,
You
but
know?
in like Antarctica.
A wild north.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay,
Frontier town.
Yeah.
okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm thinking of like a frontier town, but what's the boom? Because why did people go to California and like the
Why are they
gold
going
rush?
Well, I mean, people
right?
did go to the Yukon for the gold too.
That's true. But I was thinking like, okay, well, no, but that's my point. What's the resource that they're going to be flocking to? And my brain immediately goes to anathema parts. Because you now have like these weird, hyper-violent hunters who are like, I make my living killing these beasts and selling their rare parts to people who need them for whatever. I don't ask questions. Like these people want them. Some want them alive. Some want them dead. And for some weird reason, the
It's a sex
anathema.
thing.
It's often a sex thing, unfortunately. Yeah. Or maybe this. I want. Okay, so let's rework this, or not rework, but let's think about this. The anathema are most prevalent in the north, in the frozen, for whatever reason. We don't have a reason. We don't need a reason, but for whatever reason, that's just where they hang out the most. And so once people found out about the anathema, they're like, all right, cool. This is now the resource. This is what we're gonna go for. And then you have the weirdo pilgrims who are like, I'm going to brave the blizzards and the snow and the miles of tundra and also those giant anathema beasts.
Oh, that
to
could be
get
like
to
a
the
side
holy
gig
mountain.
also for the hunters. It was just like, oh yeah, I'll guard you there, and then if I kill
Exactly,
anything on the
guys.
way, I get
Oh
to keep
yeah,
it.
like they're guarding pilgrims and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah. Like, sorry, can't go
And
any
you don't know who
further.
you can trust. So when you finally get to the cult near the mountain, you're like, finally, people who aren't trying to rip me off, or bamboozle me,
have
kill
some
me.
soup.
Oh,
but they're
man.
possibly the worst people you can encounter.
Yeah, there's all sorts of fun.
We have a
kinda
warm
like-
hearth and plenty of soup for you,
Yep.
brother.
There's all sorts of madness happening in the mountain, and I like it a lot. Okay, so let's talk about
How much madness?
mountains of it.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna toss some crazy shit out there. Are you fucking ready for this? There are no gods in the north. This is where there are no god-pacted, or maybe god-pacted magic doesn't work, or something like that. Or maybe there's something about the way that the god hearts don't function. But essentially, there are no gods in the Northlands.
I like
Maybe
that.
maybe just on the outskirts, but like especially once you start getting closer to that mountain, god pact magic stops working, relics start to fade. It's basically a god eating area, or a magically dead area.
God siphon.
Yeah, more or less. All right, cool.
Right, that's super cool.
Yeah, because now we have like the mana wastes, and then there's a holy mountain to go along with it, and it's like, yeah, no, it's basically going to be like a desert of magic, and also there's going to be like weird hunter guys going on around
Oh, I
it.
didn't realize that would make it extra difficult, because even those who possess magic can't just be like, up, food, water, food, water.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, my magic stops working for some reason.
Yeah, fuck you and your good berries.
Yeah. Well, again, this is why we got rid of the Vancian style of magic in our
I
system to begin with, because realistically, I mean, I think it takes away from storytelling. We're not getting into this yet. This is going to be in another episode.
It ties back to the I forget the name of the cast members that are outside of a cast. In the Caliphate, like these are people who could choose to go to the mountain because they've heard it's someplace they can be accepted and find their own gods.
Oh man,
potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that it's Okay, so now we have these weird. Hold on, because
I'm gonna butcher the name again, but go on. Sorry.
No, how do these people know about the place? Right, like obviously there have to be heralds who are traveling south from the Northlands to figure out, like...
The faithful, you mean?
Yeah, the faithful. They have to be like...
ones.
Obviously, they're all clones, yeah. But it's like, hey, come... I'm the shepherd of lost children. Come north, and we can find you a new home.
Well, and they'll be believed because the people who are coming back are the ones who ventured out from the perspective of the people who they left from.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like
true.
if your husband left for some spiritual awakening, he returned to you to bring you now. Because he saw the portal.
Your husband also went
but
to
it's
about
not your
6
husband.
other villages.
Yeah, it's not your husband though.
Could we wait? Could you? Oh,
You got the whole doppelganger
Yeah.
end thing in there.
Hold
I
on,
like it.
because now you can just say like, oh, because you can just lie, right? Because they all look the same, so you can go to somebody and as a con man, be like, Mary, my wife, and then like, or like my mom, or just basically because everyone walks out looking the exact same.
Yeah.
You know, you can just lie to them, be like, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like I'm your Abraham, but trust me.
Oh,
you know, like
you mean like the schemers?
exactly,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Exactly. And of course, but that's the thing is that because you're gonna have those schemers. And then you're going to have the guy who are aware of the schemers and you're like, oh, I can get up on this grift. Yeah.
I could
do
so
that, no
see
problem.
like a story that's like dueling bounty hunters, like one trying to get the guys who are the schemers and the schemers trying to get one over on the people who, have returned. And the story is just about them chasing each other. And it's all in the background.
And then they fall in love.
They fall in love.
But both in that movie Bird Box and also, this is the name that I was going to butcher again, Churitu?
I can't say words. Chris, I have said the words less than 3 episodes.
Thank you, Mrs. Connor in 3rd grade. Guess what? It never stuck then. It's not going to stick now.
All right. Chris is going to now learn how to pronounce Junji Ito.
Junji Ito.
Junji Ito's name. He is very important. He is a fabulous mangaka. He's a great horror writer in general.
Junji Ito.
Thank you.
Sounds like I'm saying burrito in my mind.
How?
It just does. It's how it works. But going on about his story.
Hold on.
No, it does.
Hold on. What?
There is an Ito in both words, to be fair.
That is the only thing that you
Jun
can get.
eats a burrito is what I said in my mind.
Look, if that's what you need to say in order for you to remember it, that's fine. This is going up online where literally dozens of people will hear how fucking dumb you are.
I'm not dumb. It's rude.
All right, look. If you think of burrito whenever you hear Junji Ito, I would love for you to email us and prove one of us wrong.
I hope you get thousands of emails. Somehow it goes viral.
Honestly, if
we come together. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Maybe we'll send them together. Yeah.
If I got thousands of emails, Christopher, I assume that it's a Russian bot or maybe a Chinese bot. Either way, you've paid some botting service to inundate our email service.
Probably cheaper. I was just gonna put up a Craigslist.
We're gonna put aphids and blue milk in those emails.
That's totally fine.
But anyhow, in one of his stories where they have the holes in the mountain and people see it, and it just makes them suddenly connect with it.
Yeah, it's like the mystery of like Selena's fault or something like that. I know the exact story that you're talking about.
But it's kind
That's actually what I think of when I think of the Forgotten, or is that last image.
Yeah. Creepy as fuck.
Yes, very. We really need to get Daniel up on the Junji Ito stuff.
We gotta sit you
Seriously.
down.
I have an aversion to manga.
No, you'd like this. I assure you, you'd like this.
Has to do with an X, and I don't
They
wanna
have a
go into
live
that.
action
Fair
film, I
enough.
think, for one of them.
Nope, don't watch that one. Are
Really?
you talking about Uzumaki, the spiral one? It's real bad. It's real bad. Also, the anime, real bad.
Really?
Really bad. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's kind of, there were those people who were faithful to whatever the fuck those things in Bird Box were, and even pictures of it would resonate with people. So I'm picturing a depiction of the portal is sometimes what makes people have this weird eeriness inside them of where they see it and they're like, I have to go there. In my soul, I
That's
feel
pretty
this.
Yeah.
cool. Okay, now I'm just thinking
Yeah.
that these people are god pacted to some weird portal god, or maybe
Or a
that's
god
the
that's
effect.
beyond the portal
Oh my god, that's fucking cool.
that can't get its way back into the world.
No, like just the name, the God Beyond the Portal,
Yeah.
is such. First of all,
Or they
sounds
think
like
it's
an
a god.
album. Sounds like a metal album, like the God Beyond the Portal.
All right, let's get the black lights on.
But
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe it is a god. Maybe it's not. You know, like
No, I mean that right there. Okay,
knows?
that's a bit of lore.
And
that I
Beyond the
fucking love right
Portal.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like the kind of like mimetic hazard of it, of like you see something and you're like, oh. And even the people who are
Just feeling
strong
like-
of what will are just like, why can I not stop
can't stop
thinking
thinking.
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
portal?
And
But
the
it's only
heralds bring
certain
the book with the picture of it. you know.
Yeah, it's like some kind of weird draw, like it's an unexplainable draw, but it doesn't work on everyone.
Yeah.
Making
It's
that
like,
mashed potato mountain in
Yes.
yeah, like
Close
the
Encounters of the
Simpsons.
Third Kind. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking of The Simpsons, where he's making the where he's thinking about clown college. And
Oh
he
my
makes the circus tent out of mashed
Is that
potatoes.
supposed to be like based on?
I
It
don't
must.
know.
Oh, okay.
It must be, right?
Is
Like,
it big? Is it a big mountain?
No, it's
No,
like,
it's a little one?
It's like
He's making a plate where
Oh.
but the mashed potato mountain in Science,
that-
it was a lot of mashed
Oh,
potato.
okay.
It was actually too big for a
in-
group of people of that
in The
size.
Simpsons. It's like
It's a little okay.
yeah, it's like a plate size, and he's like he's made a flag on top of the
Wait,
circus
does
tent.
Signs have this as well? Like a thing that he makes? I don't remember Signs.
I don't remember
Because
Signs
if
either.
that's the case, that means Signs is calling back to Third Close
M. Night
Encounters. That's hilarious.
M. Night Shyamalan has literally done 2 good movies. His
yeah,
entire
except for
life.
it's true.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I liked Devil.
I don't think that was directed by him.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was produced by him, but not directed.
I'm thinking
had a
The
twist.
Village and is it Sixth Sense? That he
The
did?
Village was garbage.
Well, it is
Village
garbage,
was
but I mean, it was
alright.
the only one with a twist that was half decent.
No, Unbreakable I thought was
Oh, Unbreakable
really
was
good.
good. I like that
Unbreakable is his second good
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
What
That's a good
was the split you didn't like?
Oh, a split personality one? That one was,
That
it
was-
wasn't bad.
That was decidedly okay.
yeah. That's
what
how,
was the
that's how I
third
feel about
one?
it. Yeah.
Glass, which was I didn't
didn't see
see
that one.
because it looked like hot
Oh, I
garbage.
liked it.
Really?
Yeah, it was alright.
I know that they all die in the end, which is equally dumb.
Well, that's great.
Spoiler alert.
for
oh
everyone.
fuck yeah! Well, fuck
Wow.
it. I'm sorry, I spoiled a shitty movie. Whatever.
Wow.
It is crap, so. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
It's no
also,
Pacific Rim.
Which is crap.
I love Pacific Rim so much. Such a lovely movie.
It's a good painting, like finger painting.
Oh, Daniel. Okay, I feel like we're with our meandering. I feel like we've covered enough to make the Frozen North to be kind of interesting. Do we want to focus on anything else, or we just kind of leave it as
I want to
on
run a campaign there.
I know, me too.
I'm ready.
It's like there's so much that you could do, and not only that, but I love the idea of like weird pilgrims coming down from the
Yeah.
north and just like I don't know why I have to leave, but I can't help.
Gotta
but
go with you.
think it. Yeah, like I'm like why? You know, it's like unknowing. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
fucking
Sit up
fun.
at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking of that portal, thinking of that image. I have to see it in real life.
Yes.
Oh, do you think that people approach the same like, oh, hey, you came back, and the guy's like, what are you talking about? You know, because they all look the same. All the prophets look the same, right? So or do you think that they've been trained to be like, I came back for you?
I think that
Like,
they have to.
something like that.
They have to know they have to know that they went through something, but not realize that they're a duplicate for it to work. Like they have to honestly believe they're the same person. So when they come to bring back, say, their wife or their husband, you know,
They
or
think that
whoever,
they're doing good.
the right thing, and maybe the wife or the husband senses something wrong about them, but as far as they're concerned, they believe. Like that would make them so much stronger if they believe that they're still the same person.
Okay, yeah. I feel like all right. I feel like we should probably do an entire episode
Yeah.
now that the conceptual phase is kind of out there.
We invented a new god. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, the God Beyond the Portal. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but we've got this area down. We've got various like cool little tidbits and whatnot. All right, I feel like this is a good place to stop, and then we can do a deep dive later on if we so chose.
Tenants of the god beyond the portal. and all
Yeah,
that.
tenants.
I mean,
that.
among so many other
Or
things.
pilgrims. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
The tenants are the ones that are by the mountain, and the pilgrims are the ones
I'm
that go
just
out.
thinking that the Forgotten are trying to carve the mountain to look like some kind of like hand reaching up to the to the sky.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't know, like Berserk, if you remember the God Hand at all.
Oh yeah. I was picturing kind of the spire in
Slay the Spire.
The
tabletop RPG Spire.
No, it's Deep Space, I think, or Dark Space. The one where you stomp on everything in the room because you're
Dead
afraid.
Space.
Dead Space. Do you
Okay.
remember the spire?
The monolith. Yeah.
Monolith, yes.
Yeah, it's like a weird twisting
like
spire.
three
yeah.
tentacles trying to wrap around something.
Okay, yeah, I mean we could do. There's a number of things that we can do.
This module is obviously called The Pilgrims of the God Beyond the Portal.
Probably. Okay, I feel like this is a good place to stop. I feel like we've created something that I'm. Oh, and how does Santa Claus fit into all this? Because we got to shoot him.
they're
right?
bringing
He is the
presents
Yule
back.
Man, and he will
Yuletide.
appear anywhere in the world. And if you've been bad, he will murder your entire family.
But
Just
not
like
you.
real Santa Claus.
Not you, though.
Yeah.
But he will also leave gifts made from the previous family's bones.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
He's thoughtful.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Worldbuild with us. My name is Rob Hilferty, here with Daniel Quinn and Chris Prunty.
Hello.
If you ever want to get in contact with us, if you want to send us some, I don't know, some info, if you know the God from beyond the portal, email us at worldbuildwithus@gmail.com or just drop a comment in the whatever app that you use. I'm sure that we'll see it one way or the other. And until next time,
Comments in the apps?
yeah, there's. Yeah,
Oh,
there's-
I'm not looking at those, even if there are none.
Oh yeah, I'll show you this anyway. All right. So until next time, we love you very much. Have a great winter solstice. Happy holidays and be well.
Mary Saturnalia.